In every generation, love has worn a different mask. Once upon a time, it was chance encounters on city streets, long letters written by candlelight, or introductions whispered by family and friends. But today, love is sought in the glow of our screens. Profiles become portraits, swipes become destiny. And in a world of infinite options, intimacy has never felt more fragile. We chase connection through algorithms. We gamble with vulnerability in a digital marketplace of hearts. And we wrestle with the haunting question, is this abundance of choice bringing us closer or pushing us further apart? This is a story of dating in the modern world, where romance is reimagined, rewritten, and sometimes lost in translation.
Welcome to the Retrospect podcast, a show where people come together from different walks of life and discuss a topic from their generation's perspective. My name is Ian, and as always, I'm joined by Jason.
Hello, everyone.
And Stoney.
Hello.
How's it going?
Well, I'm going to tell you,
Uh-oh.
I'm actually pretty excited right now because I feel like I'm fixing to save a whole bunch of money on my car repair that I talked about last week.
Yes.
So it looks like I'm going to be coming out a whole lot better than what I thought I would be. So I actually feel pretty good right now.
What? So what was the verdict? Is it?
Well, I'm getting some parts of my AC replaced in the car, and I can only imagine what the dealership would have charged. That's probably about an $1,800 job with them. But luckily, the gentleman that Stoney recommended, and is going to be able to get the work done for a fraction of that cost. So, considering I've got a lot of expenses coming up, everybody knows I'm getting married. It'll be in February. We've already selected the date.
Oh wow, this is news.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
February 13th.
Okay.
It's a Friday.
Why not just make it the 14th?
Because the reception hall is not available.
Right, and he wanted specifically Friday the 13th.
Oh.
No, I'm playing. I don't actually
know.
Think about that.
It was actually, I wanted to get you on St. Valentine's Day.
Really?
But we can't do it because the reception hall that Tracy likes, and I like it too, they're booked that Saturday. So Friday was open. So, we'll take it. Yeah. It'd be kind of neat getting married on Friday the 13th.
That's fun.
But we'll be able to celebrate Valentine's and our anniversary pretty much the same weekend. So we're fixing to spend a little bit of money, and we're getting some help from our family too. I mean, it's like anything, but.
So
most of it is being funded by us.
Yeah.
But we're also looking at honeymoons and just kind of seeing places we can go. I know we were looking at that the other night, and
that's awesome.
There's a couple places I think down in Antigua and St. John that we're looking at now.
Antigua's got some great coffee.
Yes. So we've been busy with all that. So as much as I can save right now, because I know I've got big expenditures coming up. So, but I'm excited about that. But overall,
that's awesome. So no new car right now.
No, but we did go look, and I think the car right now that is at the top of my list, it was going to be a Genesis. Yeah, I think I've switched to an Acura.
Really?
Yeah, I test drove like 3 of them this past weekend, and I really like the ride of the Acura.
I think a friend of mine had the TL or something, or TLX or whatever it is, and he loved it. It was so
they
nice.
got some beautiful ones. I'm gonna tell you, if I had somebody just said here's 80 grand. You got to spend it on a car.
Yeah.
I'd go get probably the accurate Type S.
Yeah.
That would be the one I would get. I mean, it's just fine.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's just nothing like a new car smell.
Oh, yeah.
You get in it, it just isn't.
Oh, man.
I mean, it's just, golly, it's like there's a reason I buy new cars.
Yeah.
I know people say that's a terrible investment, and I know it's a terrible investment, but it all depends on how you look at it. If you keep a car 10 years, buying a new car is, I think you get your money out of it.
Right. That's awesome.
It's people who change out cars every few years that, I would not recommend buying new cars.
What did my buddy ask you today? He says, is it paid off? Yes, it is. Well, now it's making you money.
Right, exactly. Oh, I say that all the time. I mean, even the original repair estimates, even if a repair is $2,000, I said, that's still cheaper than $50,000.
Yeah.
It just is.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter how you play it. Now, the question is, I mean, let's be honest. If it was just me,
right,
I would be like, I can roll with it, and I'll wait to possibly when the interest rates get a little bit better on some of these cars. But it's not just me anymore.
Exactly,
and I have to take into consideration other people's opinions that I value, and I want them to be happy and to to be able to enjoy being in a car that would be very comfortable for long drives.
Exactly. Especially for a long time, for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, because our plan is we're going to travel. I mean, so I do want a car that's going to be comfortable and nice and stuff like that. So, but my inherent nature is I hate making large purchases.
Yeah.
There's a psychology behind it with me. It's like it paralyzes me.
Really?
Yeah, so I hate shopping for new cars. I just hate it. It's the most stressful thing. I went through this when I bought the car I have now.
Right.
I went through this. I hated it. And it was like you get to a point, it's like you kind of like,
it's a breaking point.
Just grit my teeth and do this and go home. Because I'm just not in a good mood.
Of course.
Period. But that's just me.
Yeah,
I'm just that way. Some people, hey, just
they're
sign the paper and let's go.
Yeah.
Not me. I'm just not, because I always feel like I'm getting screwed.
Yeah,
you are getting screwed.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I do, and because I know that, that just makes me even
worse.
more angry. So it's just what it is. So.
Speaking of getting screwed.
Oh, whoa, buddy.
Wow, what an opening.
Yeah,
what's the topic for today?
What a segue.
I'm glad I kind of opened that up so that you could come back on that. That was pretty good. But we're talking about
something that I can say, thank you, Jesus, I don't have to deal with ever again in my life.
Yeah. Yep. Dating in the modern world.
Thank you, Jesus.
I'm telling you.
Howdy, doctor.
I've been, when we talked about even bringing this topic up as a potential talking, something we talk about on the show. I was in the dating world.
You were a professional dater.
I was a professional dater.
Yeah.
And really, you know what? I was fine with that. I never really found the person that I really truly could bond with. There was always things.
Yeah.
It's sort of like a checklist. You got 5 out of 5 boxes, or maybe 4 out of the 5, or 3 out of 5, or whatever the case may be. I never could date anybody that had all the boxes that I could check off.
Right.
And I was, the good Lord was gracious and helped me meet Tracy, and I never thought in a million years, be honest with you, a couple years ago, I would ever entertain ever getting married. I just thought that I was just going to be single and
Right.
that was it. And I was okay with that. I really was.
Right.
I'm not somebody that needed to have that. I felt like my life was pretty full and but it definitely is a lot richer now.
Of course.
To have that, to share that, especially as you get older.
Yeah.
I mean, the reality is, it's good while you can kind of run and gun, but there are times when you probably are not going to be able to run and gun.
Yeah.
And,
Why does it seem like the really good-looking people are always busy? Hold on, I can't tell you I'm busy right now.
Stop it.
I don't know. I'm no longer in the dating world,
Right.
so that's that world is over with for me. And
Well, we got one married, one engaged,
Yep.
and one
and you
single.
got one
Yep.
single.
You're
So,
right.
and for the longest time, it was one married. You were
Yeah.
also in a
I guess I was. Yeah.
relationship,
And-
and you was the single
and
one.
I was the single guy.
You're right.
So, it happens, and sometimes when you really aren't looking,
Mm-hmm. 100%.
and that's when it happens. And
Yep.
and I urge people, because there are people that like battle loneliness, and a lot of people psychologically it weighs on them.
Oh, yeah.
It really does. And when I was younger, it really didn't bother me at all.
Right.
But at my age now, especially when I came down with my back injury,
Oh, yeah. You're right.
and I was down for the count. I couldn't move. I couldn't bend over to even tie shoes.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
I couldn't do anything. I was getting my sister to come over to my house, to just put my shoes on, or to just help me do that. So,
Yeah.
and it just like, what would happen if I really was down for
Yeah.
an extended period of time?
Well, I remember everybody kept telling me, you need to quit messing with them young girls, and you need to find somebody that can recognize the signs of a stroke.
Stop.
And then I had one.
Hey.
Thank God Miranda was around, and she's a doctor, and she's like, hey, that's a stroke. Let's get you to the doctor.
It is. It a lot of people would say it's tough getting older alone.
Yeah.
And there are challenges with that. And I'm not going to sit here, and for those listeners out there who are single, are still in the dating world, I'm not saying being single is this terrible deal. It's like this unfulfilled life. You can fill your life up however you like to fill your life up, and I would hope most people would fill their life with good things,
Yeah.
and not destructive things. And one thing I've noticed especially with guys, I don't know
Yes.
how it is with the female side, but with guys, there are a lot of guys that, either when they come from out of a divorce,
Mm-hmm.
or if they are single, they oftentimes lead a kind of somewhat of a destructive life
Yeah.
as far as their habits. They don't take care of themselves. They drink too much. They're sleeping with every girl they can find, and the health risk involving that in today's world.
Yeah.
Just the psychological effects of that kind of hookup culture.
Yeah.
It's all negative, and I think it drags you down. It never really brings you happiness. So it's important, if you are single, is to fill your life with very positive things that keep you up and help you navigate that. Because eventually you're going to get to an age where you're not going to have it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you're not going to have it, and
There was, trust me when I say, like, I got out of a relationship June of last year. So we're now a year and a couple months into me being single. And and I'm going to be transparent. There was a few months where I was like, I definitely led that life, not the full extent of that, but like I was a bit sad and I was a bit cooped up, and it is what it is. But after a certain point in time, I was able to get out into like certain areas of my community and friends and reach out and kind of, and now that it's been a year out, I feel, for me personally now, I feel better to put myself out there, not only just like in like a friend sense and like hanging out and going out more and just, engaging in life in a new way, but also like opening myself up to the idea of someone being interested in me. Because before I was like, I don't want to just jump into something because the relationship that I was in,
because the tendency is to do that.
Right. I didn't want to.
Well, like you said, everybody's looking for happiness. But and I found in my extensive years, even from all the way back in the hammer and chisel days with, the marble tablets, if you're not happy with yourself, you're never going to be happy with somebody else. And Jason, you were happy with your life, and I was happy with my life. I was unhappy with the dating world. And I can remember sitting on one of my best friend's couches saying, I'm done. I'm just going to be a professional hoe. I'm just going to, I'm just going to date. I'm not going to try to date anybody serious. I'm going to go have some fun. If I'm by myself, I'm by myself. If there's somebody to go out with, I'm going to go out with. And 2 weeks later, they introduced me to Miranda.
There you go.
And I knew that night I was marrying her. Because my mentality had changed. I wasn't looking for someone to fulfill me. I was happy. And then I found someone that fulfilled me even greater than the expectations that I even thought was possible. Now, I know that's the God thing, but I was done. Dating after 50 is like finding the least broken thing at the thrift store that doesn't smell. And it's horrible.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Well, for a man, for a man. Now it depends on where you're at in life. I mean, for the vast majority of men, a lot of men are alone. There's not. I mean, if you look at the numbers and what women are attracted to in guys, if you kind of follow some of these interviews and things I've seen, is women generally want the guy, even if the woman's making money, she wants the guy to be making at least what she's making or more, preferably more. They want them to be a certain height, and there's some scientific evidence that the taller you are, the better, more attractive your appear to be. You got to have the project the confidence, kind of have
but not arrogance.
Exactly. There's a fine line. I mean, depends on what. Some women like that arrogance.
Oh, yeah.
They do. I mean, that's
a red flag.
Well, it may be.
For some people, I know someone specifically that can come across as pretty arrogant.
I know. I've known
catch.
I've known girls throughout.
No, I'm talking about a woman that likes that arrogance. She's the red. That's a red flag.
Yeah. It's just. I mean, it's just kind of what it is. But guys generally are going to be. I mean, we're in this predicament because our very nature. Guys are, women are looking at guys as a provider, regardless of how much money and material wealth
because
they have.
What's hers is hers, and what's yours is hers.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, at one time,
you're fixing to find out when she's finished moving in, and you lose more than half your space in that house.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I've pretty much hardly used most of my house anyway.
That's a good save.
No,
that's a good save.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I knew when we were going this, I knew where the relationship was going, that I knew life was going to change for me to a degree, and I'm fine with that because at this point in my life, it's sort of like either you're going to do this or you're not.
And
that's just what it is.
And it's one thing to be like mentally and emotionally prepared for that,
right?
As opposed to like being blindsided by it.
Exactly. I'm not. I went into this knowing fully that if I want a relationship, then that means someone's going to move in, someone's going to bring in their stuff,
right?
And I'm going to be sharing the space 50-50.
Right.
I'm going to try to make it as comfortable. I want that person to feel like that's their home too, because that's the way you do it. Now, we're not going to eventually stay where I'm at now.
Right.
We'll eventually buy a house together.
Yeah.
And then I think at that point it'll be truly a kind of a joint.
That's when you'll lose it.
Right.
That's when you'll lose it. Because right now, this is your house, and she's got to do the 50-50 thing. But when you move in and you buy a house together, that's when you're going to lose it.
She's going to be so upset with you, Stoney, because she listens to this podcast. So,
he's trying to scare you. Is all.
No,
it is.
I'm not. None of that. Look, it's so funny because people were making jokes about amount of stuff, about moving her stuff in and all that. And I was like, I was throwing out all this and throwing all that. But in all reality, it needed to be thrown out because all it did was I looked at it for years and just like, you just never feel like dealing with it because you're just by yourself and the walls don't talk. Yeah. So it just, I always get around to it when I get around to it, So, but believe it or not, I like the way she is kind of organized my house. I like how the house has now been, it looks better than it did. So, a woman's touch, God knows I needed help with that because I am not an inside type of guy. I love the outside.
Well, that's the deal y'all made. She can have the inside. You got the outside, right?
The only thing I said, my computer room is my room I control. Right. And in our new home, I told her, I said, that room, you can decorate the house how you want. That room will be decorated the way I want to have it decorated because there's a certain theme I want to do.
Of course.
But yeah, I mean, that's kind of part of the modern world and how relationships work. I mean, even back then when supposedly women, didn't have any rights and they couldn't vote and they couldn't do anything. And then for all intents and purposes, they were basically properties of their husbands. Mm-hmm. Even then, women ran their households. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. They did. Yeah. I mean, it's just, that's just, the domestic home was run by the wife. Mm-hmm.
So the husband may leave for 2 or 3 years on a ship.
Exactly.
She's left running the household
and raising the children raising the
kids
and stuff like that. So that that whole the kind of people. I don't think people really have a good understanding of how those relationships worked even back then when supposedly.
Well, that's been part of the attack on the American family is getting people out of their place with God's plan is getting the women out of the home. That's really been detrimental to American society is getting the women out of the home.
The thing that's crazy for me is the fact that it's only been probably like 20 to 30 years. Like I think since like online dating became like a really like big thing or became like a viable option, really. It's, I'm trying to think back to like the 80s and 90s, like that being a different time for like the dating pool. But like everything since 2000 and onward has been like a kind of evolving and changing thing to where like the landscape now in like the dating world is so much different than it was 30 years ago, 20, 30 years ago.
I can tell you it's quite different.
And the thing is like you were talking about all these things about dating and about, like finding relationships and, frameworks and how things are organized in a household and stuff like that. And it's like, it's crazy how even like, just in my lifetime, like that has been a different thing altogether. And the fact that there's younger people that are now like in the dating pool now that have never experienced that and probably will never experience like just casual dating.
I think, the big common denominator here is what's changed relationships. It is the electronic age. It's just like we talked about in the opening. The digital world has changed human interaction. It just has. Whereas in the past, you had to go out and meet people face to face.
I got some stuff on that. In my time, the boomers 46 to 64, partners usually met through friends, work, school, and church. Mm-hmm. Gen X 65 to 80. That was through friends, work, and bar scenes. Mm-hmm. Millennials is kind of when all of this kind of started taking off with some of the electronics and things like that. And it really has just taken off since there. I can remember during my time, the minute you got serious about finding a mate, do you know who you became friends with?
Who?
The grandmas in the church.
Yep, because they would be saying, I have a granddaughter.
Well, but they also had been watching everybody grow up. They know what all the personalities were. They knew who was good at this, who was good at this, who could sew, who could cook, who could do all of this. When you got serious, you started hanging out with the grandmas and you started helping them do their yard or helping them fix the little electricity, the little plug that burned up at their house. Right. And then word got out.
Yep. Yeah, well, it kind of goes back. It takes a community. Mm-hmm. That's how socially we organized ourselves. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how it all worked.
And then the X Gen was the bar scene.
Yeah.
And I hate to say this, I'm the last year of the boomer generation, so I kind of blend into both of those worlds. I can remember the 70s, 80s, and the 90s.
Right.
In the bar scenes.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was big time. And that's where you went to date and to hook up. I can remember a bunch of my friends asking me, how did you get 3 or 4 telephone numbers? Well, tell me what you did. Well, I went to the bar.
You start talking.
All right, tell me, what did you do? Well, I got a beer and I sat at the bar and I'd go ask a couple girls to dance. And I said, you're an idiot. I said, the next time you go to the bar, go with 2, 3, 4 friends and then go sit at a table. And you don't even have to talk. All you have to do is pretend like you're telling each other a joke and just laugh. Because there's nothing more that infuriates a woman more than seeing a man do nothing is to see a man having fun without them.
Exactly. No,
and
there's a lot of truth to that.
You sit there and you just laugh. And you don't have to say anything, and they did that. He went out that weekend, and I asked him on Tuesday. I said, "How many numbers did you get?" I got 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that.
That was the game. That's how you did that.
That's how you met people, and that's how you broke the ice. And I was very much fully in that world. I remember going to the clubs. Mm-hmm. Every
if you went
possible
by yourself,
night you could go.
You had a stigmatism on you. Yeah. You were there by yourself drinking a beer and just looking at everybody. But if you were there with people, you were out socializing.
Right. Yeah, you couldn't go out by yourself. That wasn't a thing back.
Interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a thing back then.
And I'll tell you this, if there was a girl that you were interested in and this guy was hogging her time, there was a very simple solution to that. You walked up right behind him, turned and put your back toward him, and you foughted. And then you walked away. And that would clear him away because she would walk away. Once she smelled that,
she was like, I'm
out of there. And then that kind of freed her up to talk to you, see?
Yeah.
What a different world you guys lived in.
It was.
I know.
It was a big game. It was a game.
I mean, Ian, you're probably the one that can really speak heavily on dating,
today's society,
in today's dating world. Even though you're getting now, you're getting to a point now where you're not quite where that used to be anymore. Oh, yeah. But I mean, when you were 18 years old, 17 years old, what was it like? How did you break the ice with girls? Because
the craziest thing now is like, even from whenever I was 18 to right now, it is a different world. Even in that short, I say short, it's been over a decade or so. Even in this past 10 years, the landscape is, and I tell you, 100% different than it was.
What do you think has caused that?
Social media, dating apps, social media, and the fact that we all of our in-person spaces are now digital spaces. A lot of like bars. I think that there was a point in time, I think people in my age bracket and probably even a little bit older than me, I think still go out to bars to hang out, to go see people. But like younger generations don't go out to the bar. They don't drink. They may have spaces like that, but at least not in this context and where we are. And it's like a very interesting situation where like I said before, I'm in this middle space now where it's like a lot of these places we used to like congregate at, like physical spaces in my youth, like don't exist anymore. Or if it does, then you don't go there to go date people. You go there like with a date. So like you go online, you go to a dating app, you find the person, and you go to that thing. So it's like there's no like the community aspect.
Once again,
feels,
you're finding your potential mate via the computer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
swiping, and a lot of times
Swiping,
it's a lot of times it's not even. Again, I don't know the female perception of this, but I've heard it from a lot of friends of mine that a lot of it isn't even like deep diving into the person. A lot of it is just like judging a book by its cover, which kind of even hurts your feelings, or hurts my feelings even more when it's like, I know I have a lot to give, but like if I'm not the most attractive person there, I'm not going to get a match or whatever. And that's what that's the part that's hard.
Back in my time, the 70s and the early 80s, you could be ugly and still hook up.
Yeah.
The world was completely different.
Yeah.
Now with the age of this social media, like you said, everybody has to look a certain way. You got to have your hair done a certain way, or this thing. Back then, you could have big old buck teeth and just be ugly, and there's still going to be somebody for you.
The problem is, I think, today, right now that I've experienced, is that no one can be normal.
Love that.
Social media has not only like TikTok and trends and social media, but like dating apps as well. Like you either have to be the most attractive person, or if you're not, you have to be outrageously good at something, like the best in the world,
or wealthy,
to be famous on the internet, to become a potential person. Like if you're just an average person, and I'm not saying this is, I'm hyper generalizing here. I know that there are normal people that do find normal people, but I'm just talking about in the social media aspect as well as like online dating that I've experienced. I don't think I'm the most attractive person in the world, but I do have some qualities that I do think I can shine, that makes me shine as a person, but it's hard to like translate that across a dating app. And that's the thing, like, that I feel like we see online a whole lot, is like either they're the most attractive, the prettiest person in the world becomes the most famous person, or it's this person who like may be an average person, but they can do this thing like nobody else can or whatever. And it's crazy that like it's hard to just be normal. It feels like nowadays
30% of U.S. adults have used a dating app or website.
Oh, yeah.
They say 66% of users are age 18 to 29.
Yeah.
And they said the global market was valued at about $9.2 billion in 2022.
Yep.
And was projected to reach that again in 2025.
The hard part about it, too.
And Tinder is the most popular app, boasting 75 million plus monthly users globally. So, good old Tinder. You know,
it's not good, but
I think it's creating some other things too. The median age for first marriage hit a U.S. record in 2024, about 30 for men and 28 and 29 for women, up from 23 and 21 in 1970. So we're getting married a decade later than our grandparents, or y'all are,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, as I'm saying, I mean, I'm at my age now. This will be my first marriage, so I mean, I it's just what it is. I mean, I think people are, as our society has become, I think as the economy has become, uncertain. I think with money and the cost of raising families and I think it scares a lot of people from really, actively seeking that at early ages as in the past.
Oh, yeah. I've talked about that before too.
Right,
exactly. Like by the time my dad was my age, he had already had 3 kids in a household that he was
supporting.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But see, back then, or even before that, a little bit, a man could work at one job and support his entire family,
and put him through college,
and retire at
55 years old.
And the wife could stay home and raise the kids, and actually, offer the children a lot of that social bonding that is so critical. That I think it's hurt our society with both parents now working and I'm not, getting into the, this or that with it. I'm just saying there has been social consequences with, putting kids in daycare and it's just costs so much more money now to do anything. So a lot of families, my mom and dad both have to work.
Well, it took me a minute, but I found it. There's a quote: "Women belong in the kitchen. Men belong in the kitchen. Everyone belongs in the kitchen. Kitchen has food."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You're right.
that's right. You
You
know,
know, I think it's funny, but come on.
yeah.
When you start messing with the American family and this attack and taking things out of place, it's hard. It's just hard.
It's and that has been a kind of a dominant political theme that you'll hear talk about. You'll hear people challenging elected officials. You need to make having kids and family life to make that more desirable, where people feel like I can do this and and survive, and I'm not just scraping by with my barely making it. I now at the same time, I'm also, people have got to be realistic, and people can't have what their parents had right when I get started. Your parents didn't have that. They worked toward a nicer home. Most families, they started out, if you look at some of these starter homes, they were tiny. I mean, that's just where they started. And then they kind of made a little bit more extra money, and then
my mom and dad's first house is cost less than the interest you'll pay on a new truck today.
Yeah. And people raise entire families with that.
Yep.
So it's just what it is.
I think a new thing too that's also kind of sad to hear about, that I feel like a lot of my friends talk about, is like the place that they are finding people that they are kind of interested in is at their workplace. That's the place they're spending the most amount of time.
Yeah, I mean,
well, you have something in common with them. That's the first common thing.
But
that's also one of the big things about cheating on someone too, is a lot of the cheaters are found at work too.
Well, I mean, that's what happens because you spend a lot of time at work.
A lot of time.
So
I'm saying is like that's the place that they're going to try. That's the sad part about it, is like that you can't, like there's no other
kind of another place away from the work environment to meet people. Yeah, I know. I mean, it's
a lot of times when I was single, I have interest in life, and I concentrated on those, and that's what I hoped I would find someone in that arena, because I already knew they were somewhat interested in something that I was interested in. And right now, people are so on what they're interested in, it seems like it's just hard to find somebody. And so the web is there, because you can put anything you want as an interest. And you look at that person and go, there's no way.
Right.
You 450 pounds and going hiking in the mountains.
Well, yeah.
I'm sorry.
The thing about it, I mean,
bullshit.
Most of these dating apps and Facebook profiles, it's always presenting individuals at their very best.
Right.
I mean, it's almost really kind of an unrealistic view.
Or what you want your very best to be.
It's an unrealistic view of life. I mean, life is messy. There's days it's going to be bad. It's going to be good. It's just. And I think sometimes it just gives all this kind of false persona, and that's why you find this. What happens? People, they just look like they're leading this exciting life, and in reality, no, they're just some plain Jane dude or gal, just making their way through life. I mean, but I read a stat, and I don't have it here in front of me. Maybe you can Google it. The chances of meeting a spouse go down dramatically after college. If you don't meet your particular, whoever you're going to marry while you're in college, the chance of meeting somebody drops precipitously. I read that. It's been a while back that I saw that. I don't remember where I read that at, but the chances of meeting go down dramatically, and it's just simply because a lot of times you're not going to be in environments where you can meet people because while you're in college, you're around a lot of females, or your females are around a lot of guys. So there's a lot of interaction on a constant day-to-day basis.
It seems like back in my time there and later, there's more women on a college campus than there are men.
There's more,
so the female to male ratio is a little bit higher.
Yeah, well, there's now more women going to college.
That's
than
what I'm
men.
saying.
So it's kind of flipped, because back in old times,
because a lot of guys just went into the trades.
Right, exactly. So
girls,
it's just different.
Well, so there's a quote here I find really interesting. Social media is training us to compare our lives instead of appreciating everything we are. No wonder everyone is so depressed.
Yeah, you're right. 45% of Americans say they met their partner via online dating app. That was the most common method. However, it says among straight couples, only 8 to 13% actually met via apps. For same-sex couples, it's around 24%, based upon these numbers. 20% of online daters have used dating apps to find a serious relationship. They said the success rate for online dating leading to marriage is roughly 39%. Divorce rates are lower for couples who met online compared to those who met offline, 16% to 21%. That, to me, that surprises me.
Yeah, a little bit, huh?
Yeah, that's kind of goes against the conventional, kind of understanding of how that works. But yeah, according to these numbers, over 60% of users now express concern about data privacy. Mm-hmm. I could see that.
Oh yeah.
And now with AI, you can see how that could change things up.
There was a companion to that quote I want to throw in there before I forget it. The reason we struggle with insecurity is because we compare our behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel. We were talking about that in the pre-show with the NIL and what it's doing to college football, and everybody's looking for the highlight reel. They're not looking for the real meat of what's going on. And when you're sitting there in your life and you're kind of doom scrolling, trying to go to bed, and you're looking at what everybody else says is their greatest life, but you're thinking about what you're going through on a day-to-day basis, it's all it's going to do is cause stress and depression in people.
That's right.
Why can't my life be like that? Why can I not be happy with what I have? Why can't I have that too? Because they're fake. They're not real.
But that's what I'm saying before. Is it that is the ubiquitous thing online? Is it like?
Well, I'm just agreeing with you. Yeah,
the people that make it. That's all it is. So if you want,
it's fake.
It is fake to a degree, but there is a portion of that is real. There is a percentage of that, a small percentage that has been overinflated across social media, so that we all see this person that is the best at what they do, the absolute best at what they do, the smallest percentage, or the most attractive people in the world. And everyone is flocking towards them. And that is the thing of like, if I want to make it, I have to be either of those two things. That's what I'm saying. It's like, and some of it is curated. Like if we're talking about like, people in your community that are kind of curating a certain look on their social media, then that's probably, not their truest self. But
these social media people aren't stars. They aren't celebrities. They're
but
fake and they're stupid.
But
the point I'm trying to make absolutely they are, because those people mean nothing to me. There's zero.
I know.
Because it's like the dating thing. There's the little picture of the girl asking the guy. The guy asking the girl, "What do you do for a living?" "Oh, I'm a model on Instagram." "What do you do?" "Oh, I'm a soldier on Call of Duty." And that's people's real lives. Just because you've taken a couple of pictures on Instagram means by no sense of the stretch that you are a model.
I know.
What it means is that you have a neurosis in your head that you think your life is important enough that you can see. People want to see you just sashaying down the thing and taking pictures. That's not real life.
But in the past few years, those people will make more money than average people
because
will.
Other people are stupid and will send them
advertisers.
money.
advertisers and
You're
because
right.
of, and I hate to say it, and I don't want to say it, but OnlyFans is a big thing as well. It's like
Oh,
that is you are an Instagram.
Huge.
You may be you're saying you're comparing an Instagram model to a quote unquote soldier on Call of Duty, whereas that can be further from what is reality right now. A quote unquote model on Instagram that can just take pictures can make more money than all three of us combined in a month, and I can guarantee that. I've seen numbers. I know statistics.
Well, I'm just let me put it to you like this. I'm glad I'm not stupid enough.
I know
to buy that.
But what I'm saying is that is the context. That is the modern world. There used to be a time a decade ago where it was all just curated, vacation experiences. Your friend would have it was this look, and again, we would all strive for that. But now it is even more solidified in that space of it is now even more so that way. And that's what I'm saying is you look online, and not only is this person maybe average looking, but is the 1 percentile of this person that can do this thing, or the most attractive person you've ever seen in your life. And they're getting all this money, and you know that they're making money off of this. We all do, or at least that is the people in my bracket do now, and that's the reality. You look at this and you're like, if I want to be worth something, I either have to be the best of the best at this, or I got to be smoking hot, and there's no in between. And that's what I'm saying. Is so you look at that, and now there is I think there's a lot of younger people that I think are now growing up with the idea that there is value in this.
Oh yeah.
Now, when I first met
is getting affirmed.
When I first met Miranda's son,
Yeah.
I asked him, "What do you want to be when you grow up?"
Yeah.
I want to be a TikTok star.
Exactly, because he knows that if he can get popular enough by this one little goofy thing or whatever, and it pops off, he can make a lot of money off of it. And that is the wealth
just think about it. That's what I'm saying. What's so appealing to that is I don't have to go to a job. I don't have to get up at a certain time. I don't have to account to a boss. I don't have to. I can see the allure of that. I mean, especially if you can make money doing that and live the life you want to live. Right. Now, I don't know what that means long term.
Yeah.
But
and that's why
I can see the allure of that.
I hate to say it, but that is also that is the problem.
Yep.
The big problem with OnlyFans, you have a bunch of young women that are now of age, and you have the choice that if you are attractive enough, you can just be scantily clad enough and sell your images
and make a lot of
money.
And I don't have to do anything.
And you don't have to do anything.
Nope.
And it's even gotten to a point now where they pay for messages. So you just almost
they monetize everything.
You text them in a certain way, and they can make money off of it. And that is a $1 trillion industry. I can almost guarantee that is going towards people like that. And that's why I think there's a large percentage of younger women now that are growing up in this thing of I don't have to be, I can be just attractive enough and I don't have to work really.
But again, that OnlyFans thing is not advertisers. That's some stupid man on the other side of the computer going, "Ooh, I'll pay $1,000 for you to send me a text."
And what I'm saying
I ain't that dumb.
And that's what I'm sayan about the more illicit side of it. The more public side, it's advertisers. You have a TikTok star, you have an Instagram person that is just popular enough, and they'll start doing brand deals. Influencers, yes. And they get to a certain point where if you can guarantee enough watches, listens, views, whatever, you're going to make money off of it. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying is that. So there was, I think, a curated, I think, importance and I think what has turned into what was once upon a time just perceived value in this person because they have a nice fancy lifestyle. Now there is monetary value in it. And that's why that's why it's shifted over the course of the past few years, especially post COVID. Everything changed on the internet, I feel after that.
Oh yeah.
And now we're in a whole new world now. We're it's hard.
Now we're in a whole new world of catfish and mail order brides on the internet too, which is a whole nother thing of stupidity.
That's been
that
going on for years.
But now it's rampant. You're talking $1 trillion industries.
I know, yeah.
It's unbelievable the numbers behind that.
Yeah.
I'm looking at here, and Ian, you may know more about this. ghosting.
Oh, yeah.
I think approximately 60% of U.S. adults report having been ghosted. 45% admit to ghosting someone, and actually the numbers range anywhere from 60% to 74%.
Yeah.
And up to 50% of adults have ghosted someone else. And it said among Gen Z and millennials, ghosting is especially common. 84% have experienced it. And as a result of that, they say 60% of ghosted individuals report negative impacts on self-esteem.
Yeah.
59% experience anxiety or depression. And they say some of the common reasons for it: avoiding confrontation, 65%.
Oh, yeah.
Lost interest, 41%. And perceived kindness, 42%. I say a significant portion of singles, 57%, view ghosting as immature, while 41% see it as emotional abuse.
It is emotional abuse. I agree with that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's different here now. I mean,
I think it's people don't care.
Yeah,
it's a big thing.
Gen Z and millennials are challenging traditional dating norms. They say 50% across both groups find financial openness attractive, compared to just 23% for baby boomers.
Yeah.
31% of Americans have canceled dates due to financial concerns.
Interesting.
Discussions about money happen early for many.
That should be, once you start dating, you should, and you're dating serious, those things should be out on the table.
They say on Bumble, 52% of women globally identify as romantics. 86% say affection now comes through micromance, like memes, playlists, or inside jokes.
Interesting. Okay.
Well, the Gen Xers were the what did you call the tapes? When you made a tape for a girl. You had to sit there and actually press record when the radio. What did you call those tapes?
Mixtape.
Mixtape. Thank you. Y'all were the mixtape era.
Oh yeah, I remember that. 37.
It was special when you gave a girl a mixtape.
Oh, that was serious.
Something.
Yeah. 37% of women report that romantic deficiency negatively affects their dating experience.
Interesting.
Yeah, so nearly 46% of singles value quirky or niche interests in a partner. And 49% of Gen Z sees geeking out together as intimate.
Yeah.
It's amazing how that's changed.
Well, it's funny how little things you go, huh. I remember when I first met Miranda, one of the things that truly attracted me to her, well, actually, was two things. One, together we have a 5,000 book library. And number two, she had a whole shelf in the refrigerator for chocolate. Yeah, whole shelf dedicated to chocolate.
Yeah, it's
and I'm like, yeah, I like this.
And some of these are kind of like that's a given. Like 95% say future worries affect who and how they date. 59% of women want emotionally stable partners, and 27% expect these conversations earlier in the dating timeline.
Well, I remember when I first started dating Miranda, I looked at her and I wondered, how would this person react in the zombie apocalypse? Looking for the future. How is it if the shit hits the fan, is this person going to be a benefit or a detriment to life? And of course, she's a firearms instructor like me, so I knew she'd be all right. So
here's some interesting numbers here. According to a YouGov Times poll, 62% of Gen Z reported they and their friends do not commonly have one-night stands, while only 23% have hooked up casually.
Yeah.
A notable contrast to millennials 2 decades ago. About 21% of Gen Z view marriage as irrelevant versus 39% of millennials in 2004.
Yep. I think a lot of that's also like religious stuff too. like the shift over from religion, I think is a big point of that. I think in the modern world there's not a whole lot of incentive for getting married, and then of course if you remove some religious beliefs from that, I think it loses a lot of that.
100% agree. 100% agree. But I think that's changing. I think that pendulum, and you look at some of the censuses taken after the last election, a lot of the younger people are going back to church, and they're starting to look at the old ways. I saw this thing. It was a news article. It wasn't on TikTok. It was something where all of the sudden the kids that are now 18, 19, and 20-year-olds that are having children are developing the F around and find out mentality in raising their kids, because this softer approach with the kids and being sweet with them, what do they call it? Gentle parenting, or there's some name for it.
It was, gentle parenting. It's a millennial thing, yeah.
And now the Gen Xers are going, excuse me, that's not new. But you can have it because we're tired of hearing these kids scream in the restaurants and things like that every time you tell them no. And so, but now they're going back to this older way of even raising their kids. They're finding churches. They're finding that these things matter.
I
wonder if that's going to affect the dating world too.
I think it will, because religion definitely, has determined how courtship has occurred throughout. If a lot of people, one of the things Christianity actually did that was so different from what the pagan world offered was it actually gave women dignity. A lot of people don't, as much, mud gets thrown at Christianity as this or that or whatever the case may be. A lot of people don't realize the things we take for granted today came about by the idea that everybody has dignity. In the pagan world, in the ancient world, that wasn't the case.
That's right.
At all. And a lot of people, wonder that somehow that was a more enlightened time. I said, no, probably wasn't. But, you don't understand the stuff you're taking for granted, how that slow march of time, what Christianity did to actually give women dignity as somebody in their own right. It definitely religion will play a part. So what you were saying about a lot of Gen Z are flocking back to traditional forms of religion, specifically a lot of the kind of the old mainline. I saw some numbers where there's a resurgence of Gen Z going back to Catholic Mass. There's drawn back to the Latin, some of the more kind of the old traditional forms of Christian worship. I saw some very positive numbers even on the Protestant side on some of the mainline Protestant churches. I think the more evangelical type churches are still kind of running about the same.
Yeah.
I didn't look at their numbers completely, but they've been kind of steady. Matter of fact, during the time when you saw some of these other ones really dropping off, they kind of maintained a little bit of an increase.
Yeah.
But they've kind of leveled out to a degree. But it's encouraging that younger people are kind of tired. The world is not giving them of what supposedly what was promised them. Right. They're finding emptiness there. So I'll be very interesting how that plays out with this topic, how that drives dating practices, how that kind of folds together. It'd be very interesting to see.
Yeah.
They say 77% of older millennials and 75% of younger millennials seek serious relationships. 43% favor monogamy, while another 43% embrace non-monogamy.
Yeah.
Millennials average 8 sexual partners.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So
crazy.
I don't know what the average sexual partners for Gen X and boomers would be. I'd have to. I don't have
imagine
those.
less probably.
Well,
maybe-
I don't know. A lot of boomers came during the sexual revolution and the relaxing of sexual norms. And, what was common back in the 60s was a lot of people just kind of having free sex and free drugs. I mean, so I don't know.
Yes.
It's crazy.
But, yeah, you say 36% believe apps make trust harder.
Oh, 100%. Especially as you talked about with ghosting. That's a big thing, too.
Yeah.
It's like, the second someone doesn't want confrontation or isn't interested or whatever, you can just disappear. It's like, why would I?
And I'm going to tell you what's driving that. They don't want confrontation. I've noticed it just dealing with people.
Mm-hmm.
It's because we've buried ourselves in social media hiding behind the screen that we can't talk to people anymore. So when you can't talk to people, you can't diffuse situations. You can't, look for solutions because you're too afraid to look somebody in the eye and actually talk to them.
Right.
So it's I don't know how you break out of that. I really don't, because everybody's kind of into that. And of course nobody likes confrontation. Who likes confrontation? Because sometimes confrontation can lead to very bad things.
Right, but I don't think that this is confrontation. I think when I say that, I'm talking about the littlest
stress,
amount.
It produces stress.
It is easier, path of least resistance. It is easier to just not respond and not talk to somebody than to look or to message them or to admit, hey, I'm not interested in you. That I think nowadays takes a lot more.
Well, that's
guts.
one of the things. You're sitting there on a date with somebody, and they never put their phone down, but then it takes them 2 days to respond to your text.
I'm not even talking about like meeting in person. I'm talking about.
I'm just talking about in general. It's just really.
Yeah, only 26% are looking for committed relationships. 57% of millennial women prefer splitting bills on the first dates.
Yep.
48% have gone on dates just for free food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've experienced that.
Yeah.
Emotional connection, compatibility, and financial stability are the key factors.
Yeah. Which is increasingly hard to find.
Yeah, Gen X and baby boomers, the dating style, the difference is Gen X is 19% of online daters, and boomers make up about 5%, which seems about right.
Yeah.
Yes, Gen X requires less than 30% of distance as notice.
It's funny you said that about the free food. I can remember, I don't know, maybe it was 2010 or something. Excuse me, I can't remember the exact time, but went out on a date, paid for the date, but then as we're getting ready to close up, she had 3 kids. She ordered food for her 3 kids because I needed to feed those 3 kids too.
Nope.
I might have been the first ghoster because I never called her back again.
Yeah.
No, of course not.
Yeah, you got to be careful with some of that. They say Gen X splits first date tabs, 47% for a man paying and 46% for splitting. Boomers start conversations more often and with longer first messages versus fewer for younger generations, which would make sense because boomers,
they abbreviate everything.
Yeah,
so.
boomers. Once again, you had to engage people. You had to talk to people, and that's just how you met people and how you develop relationships. Yeah. Older generations prefer calls over text to set dates. Younger prefer digital messaging. Mm-hmm. So I think we've kind of,
Yeah,
that's kind of the way it goes.
And I think, like I said, but a lot of that is because also it's easier to just. I think nobody likes talking on the phone anymore, which I think is a bit unfortunate. But I think a lot of the texts can be on your time. It can be whenever you want. And I think it also kind of goes back around to being so busy, quote unquote. People like to say that.
Making a phone call is very intentional.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's what, because now you're making contact with somebody, you're commanding their attention.
Yeah.
Versus a text.
Yeah.
You can look at it whenever you look at it.
Yeah.
So, like I said, everybody feels like everybody's busy, and a lot of people are busy, but
Yeah. Crazy. Well,
But
it's
been a I said this. I would love to have heard a woman's perspective on the dating world, and just to kind of give us their standpoint on their experiences. As guys, our perspective is generally one way.
From what I've heard in the conversations that I've had leading up to this, is that women have a lot easier time on dating apps, finding people, not making it easier as far as like confrontation with crazy people, but like have a lot easier time, because I think this same sort of mentality like we're talking about, I think a lot more men are willing to just like swipe and communicate and like are just open to anybody, as opposed to, I think, on the women's side being more curated, more specific. So I think men have a lot harder time on dating apps statistically.
It's always going to be harder for men, because men, regardless of what women do, the man is always going to be looked at. What do you bring to the table? What do you? I mean, and I hate to say it, but there are just a lot of guys that just don't have a lot going for them. They just don't, and it really women by their very nature are looking for someone that's going to take care of them, regardless of whether they can take care of themselves. Deep down, they want somebody is going to be there to take care of them and to help them. And, they're going to want that security. And unfortunately, in today's world, you have a lot of women chasing basically the top 10%. Of men out there, and there's a lot of guys that just sit at home, and there's a lot of guys who just thrown out and said, "Look, I'm just out of the game." I mean,
I think it was Chris Rock. He said only women, children, or dogs, and dogs are loved unconditionally. A man is only loved under the condition that he provides something, and I believe that.
Yeah, I don't fully believe that.
I think. Look, I mean, this fundamentally goes back to the nature of men and women, and how relationship that whole thing worked. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, we've kind of morphed into a world that I think this attack on manhood. Yeah. The whole the toxic masculinity talk, and I think for a lot of guys have just gotten afraid. It's like I can't approach a woman anymore because she thinks I'm raping them.
What's one of the most popular songs of your era? What have you done for me lately?
Right. Yeah.
How popular was that song?
It was very popular.
What have you done for me lately? That's been.
I just think a lot of guys are just. I hate to say it. I can say if I was back 25 years old again, and trying to navigate how a guy is supposed to approach a girl and start a conversation without basically being viewed as some predator. Mm-hmm. Okay,
but I think
it's just I don't know how they do it anymore, because because I'm telling you, if the way we used to do it today, you'd probably get charged with
depending on the setting. Yes, it all depends on. I think a lot of that nowadays. It depends on where you are, and it depends.
There's no doubt it is.
I think as long as you have, and this is not. Gosh, I don't even know how to word this diplomatically and not sound mean. I know a lot of people in the modern age don't have good social skills, and that is something that I've realized growing up in this world. And I think that is something that you need to have, is like good social skills, being able to understand some social cues, being able to understand when you're probably being a bit too much,
too aggressive,
or you're coming on a bit too forward. Having self-awareness is a big thing, and that's something that I've been working on.
But that's what I'm saying.
What was the movie that came out a while back? He was kind of a dominator guy.
I don't know.
Popular, the gray something. Crap.
You're talking about the guy who hired the woman to be a.
All I was trying to say is for me right now is being able to understand, like, whenever you're potentially making somebody uncomfortable, and being able to like work around that is a big thing. And if you're in the right settings with friends, I think even still now in the modern age, you can find somebody. Because I think I'm even at a point now, because I'm being more open with myself and allowing myself to kind of get back out there, because I was a bit sheltered for a minute because I was sad. But now it's been about a year or so out, and I think I'm getting to a point now where I can get myself back out there a little bit, and just being friendly and being open and being honest with yourself is, I think, still something that, regardless of the digital age, I think you can still find somebody as long as you're in the right context with the right friends and with people.
Oh, there's no doubt.
And
I'm a firm believer in that.
I'm trying not to get involved in dating apps, even though I feel like I'm going to have to eventually, because it's like it's
hard to meet somebody. Where do you go meet somebody?
Correct. I recently was at a coffee shop and had just made a joke with somebody across the way because of something that was going on in the shop, and we struck up a conversation. Nothing has come of it, but it's like little things like that where it's like being social in public. Sometimes everyone is so blinders on, do what they have to do at the grocery store or at the coffee shop or whatever else, and sometimes just like having somebody break that normal and like shaking a hand and saying like, hey, how's it going? Like, they're just talking with somebody and, being a little bit more social, even though maybe a bit uncomfortable, and just kind of like trying that out. It's like with any skill, I feel like you only get better by doing it. And so the more you're able to just kind of break that awkwardness out and kind of just be a little bit more forward and just be a personable and somewhat kind of charismatic person, I think you get better with it as you do it, but I'm not saying it's easy.
There was a movie that came out, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was kind of this.
What was the premise?
The bondage.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I know exactly the movie you're talking
what was the
about.
Movie? He was a rich guy.
He was a rich guy. He basically brought.
What was the name of the damn movie?
50 Shades of Grey.
50 Shades of Grey.
Right.
The only reason that movie was popular and okay was because he was a billionaire. Had he been a working class guy, his ass would have went to jail. But he was a billionaire, so it's okay.
And this is what I'm saying. Is that again, you can be.
No, I was trying to agree
and
with you, and I just couldn't remember.
The wealthier a man is, the more.
I've
always said this: the wealthier you are, the more deficiencies that oftentimes women will overlook.
100%.
Simply because of the material reward for that. There are a lot of people that are probably in those kind of relationships. She may not be happy,
right?
But it's too good to let go, because she knows if she did end up with a working class guy, that I'm not going to live in the certain type of house. I'm not going to drive the same type of car. I'm not going to have access to all the material, the finer things of life.
You're right.
And look, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I really do, because I guarantee that working class dude wishes he was where the billionaire was. Of
course.
Mm-hmm. It's just human nature. We always want that.
But at the end of the day, if you can make someone laugh and you can make them feel wanted, I think that is something that can also transcend some of that sometimes.
Absolutely.
I would agree.
I would
agree totally with you. And I'm not advocating for that.
And
I'm just saying there are relationships
100%.
out there that's exactly how they work.
Yeah.
It's a transactional relationship.
You're right.
And there are some people, that's all they want.
And I think the reason why I was hammering home what I was a little bit earlier ago was talking to those people like you were talking to myself, and also those younger people, men and women, that are probably having a hard time right now getting out there and are leading destructive lifestyles and are hermits or whatever. You're only going to get better at talking with people by talking with people and by just getting out of your comfort zone a little bit. If you're going to just stay on social media, if you're going to stay cooped up, it's not going to help you out at all with like holding a conversation, looking a person in the eyes, and just being able to talk with them and share interests. Like, you only get better, I think, by doing that sort of stuff.
I met Tracy in church.
There you go.
Which is probably one of the better places to meet somebody. So
one of the classic examples of where you can probably find somebody.
Exactly. And at one time, that's kind of where you met your social, kind of how it worked. But in the modern world, it's more secular, less religious, and so there are other avenues for people to meet people. But there's
not a large age group where I'm currently at. And that's the part that kind of saddens
Well,
me. Is that
it
there's not a
is.
lot
That's a problem. And the question is, I'm saying, where is you look around? Where is everybody?
Yeah.
Where are they at?
Yeah.
Because I can't find them.
Yeah.
You know?
Or if they are, they're already married with children, and that's not
Right.
That's also why I said find your
That's why
passion.
school. That's why
Yeah,
I'm telling
you're
you.
right.
Why I said
Find your
college.
passion and follow that,
Correct.
and then you'll find somebody in that
That's what
same
I'm saying.
vein.
I forget where that stat I read about the chances of meeting a life partner drops after someone leaves college, simply because you're not going to be in settings where you can meet people unless you get lucky.
Yeah.
Where maybe you meet somebody at a work function or something like that, but your world now is going to be limited. You go work for a company or whatever, you're kind of got the same social circle.
Yeah.
It's kind of fixed at that point. Whereas where you're in school, there's a lot of turnovers, a lot of people you're running into, so there's a greater chance of meeting somebody. But I forget what that number is that I saw that the chances drop quite a bit. That's why a lot of people, I knew a lot of girls back when I was, that's what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
They meet their husband in college, and that's it.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as they graduate, they're married, and
Oh, yeah.
they begin their deal. So, I mean,
Interesting.
Oh, that's a good way to hedge the bet, basically. You're
Yeah.
going to college, pick what you think is going to be the most successful guy coming out of college.
Who can give
Same
me...
girls wouldn't talk to that nerd in high school, but now that nerd is starting these startups and all this stuff like that, the nerd's going to be the one making the money. So that's the one they wound up with.
Exactly. I agree totally. It's it's funny how that works, but it's oftentimes it kind of the coin gets flipped, so to speak. But I mean, look, at the end of the day, it's relationships. Women want security, and I understand that. That's kind of goes back to that primal.
Oh yeah.
That primal desire of if I marry this hunter, he's going to bring food. He's going to provide. He's going to protect the village. He gives me the best chance of surviving and bringing children into the world and keeping everything going. So it's changed in the modern world, but those fundamental desires are still there.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting stuff.
Wow.
Well, I'm curious to hear what people's opinions on this kind of subject are, because I'm pretty sure we definitely have offended somebody today.
I'm pretty sure I have.
Well,
I don't know about y'all.
I hope
but
not. I mean, it's.
Yeah.
I think what we've talked about is it's just kind of what's there. I mean, sometimes it might be uncomfortable to talk about, but it doesn't make it not true.
No,
So,
exactly. Well, for anybody out there who does want to reach out to us, we have the YouTube comments, we have Spotify comments, and our email address, gettingittogether@gmail.com. Be sure to like and subscribe on whatever platform that you're a part of.
And share us.
Mean a lot. Yes, and share us with somebody.
Send us to a friend.
Yes. And until next week, thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everyone, and God bless.
We're all looking for the same thing: to be seen, to be chosen, to feel safe enough to be ourselves. Technology hasn't changed that. It just changed the on-ramp. So let's make a promise tonight. We will not confuse attention for affection, secrecy for intimacy, or pressure for passion. We'll slow down. We'll check the faces on video before we have coffee. We'll keep first dates in public and our rides in our own hands. We'll say our boundaries out loud and believe people when they show us how they handle them. We'll guard our wallets like our hearts, because love doesn't send invoices, and urgency isn't intimacy. When a date isn't right, we'll choose the kindest truth over the easiest silence. If you're re-entering the arena, you're not behind. You're just wiser. If you've been burned, you're not broken. You're just informed. Share this episode with someone who needs a nudge toward courage. Follow Retrospect for more conversations that make the modern life a little saner. From us here at Retrospect, may your first date feel safe enough to be honest and honest enough to be hopeful. You're the best. Peace.